This fish is entirely made out of scrap metal and recycled vehicle parts. But the thing about it is that it can move. But like, look how detailed that is. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while, so I decided to do something a little different, something that I haven't done in a long time since I moved down here to Florida. But we are in front of Ripley's, believe it or not, on I-4, I believe. It's right next to Icon Park. I've been here like once before. It was like way, like almost 5-6 years ago, before my CP. But I just wanted to show you this really cool, these like alligators or crocodiles or whatever they are. There's one's fishing, one has a ball over there, and then there's a head of one, like right there. It's just a little plastic thing. And then over here is, oh hang on, yeah, there we go. Over here is one with like one of those air boats. Here's one driving air, and then here's one like right here. But yeah, Ripley's, believe it or not. Let's go check inside. So I came in here, and this is like the first thing I said. I don't even know what this is, but it's so cool. It was talking a minute ago. It has all these carvings of like different marine life. There's a man's head in the middle. He was talking a second ago. Let's see if he'll talk again. Okay. I think I remember this mirror. It's a two-way mirror. I didn't know that, but you can kind of see it up at the top. So there's somebody behind there on this side, on the other side. And you're supposed to be making these weird faces. And then on the other side, the person's supposed to be like, oh, look at you, you're so funny. But this is me. This is who it is. These are like different fossilized alligators and crocodiles. There's this big one right here. And it still goes all the way up past the glass. Yeah. There's a crocodile skull right there. Oh, sorry. Right there. It's pretty cool. There's also a rooster up there. Oh, it's pretty cool. Tiny turtles. Oh, they are tiny turtles. There's a two-headed turtle right there. There we go. Siamese conjoined calf. This is what it looks like. There's a chicken without its head up there. A headless rooster, I'm sorry. And then right there, I'm not quite sure what this is. It tells you right there. But that one kind of reminds me of my brother's dog. His name was Champ. But it kind of reminded me of him a little bit. But there's a two-headed calf right over here. Different types of things here. I don't know if you can see it, but this is, there we go. Here's a two-headed goat. It's right here. There's a skeleton of a two-headed calf.
Ready for a little transformation? Hey, you! Yes, you, the funny looking one.
Here's some shrunken heads. Here. And I know in the past, a lot of Ripley's, believe it or not, just have replicas. Here's what it looks like on the top. And then above it, it just shows a video of how it is, or how they do it. I know some Ripley's have real shrunken heads. I don't know how real this are. I want to say this one looks real because you can kind of see like the dandruff in it. This one doesn't have dandruff, but it has like a feather in its head. Oh yeah.
We'll just make it small. You know what is actually amazing? What is actually amazing is that Robert Ripley has the largest collection of sunken heads in the world. In a remote Chinese village, when I met this Russian banker, he took a picture of me and sent it to Robert Ripley, who turned this into a famous cartoon. Man, that thing was hurt. Not really. The war is actually called an archaeology, and scientists are still.
Are these portraits that talk? It's kind of cool.
You know, Ripley made a cartoon about me too. I had to press my pants.
So they have this ancient Egyptian, like you can see the colors as well as some of the pharaohs and gods. I know that one right there is Anubis. He's the god of mummification process, not really the god of death of himself, even though a lot of people do think that he is, but he's just in the process, the god of mummification process. And then over here, towards the end, I believe is the god of Iris, the god of the sun or the sky. I'm not quite sure. I'd have to go back in my notes. These two are just gods, and I believe the other two are just pharaohs. The floor, like built into the floor, I don't know what this is exactly. It's a camel bladder vase, but I'm not quite sure what is it used exactly. This is kind of cool. It's built into the floor. So you come in and then this is it right there. And then you have a chest right over here. Some other artifacts as well as a TV. This right here is an ancient camel saddle.
Hello, friends. Believe it or not, you won't find pennies like these everywhere.
But I do love the walls. A whole bunch of stuff. They actually have like sand in here and brushes. This is the closest I'm ever going to get to visiting Egypt. I hope I don't raise a curse and then Rick O'Connell has to come and save me. Oh no.
Hello, friends. This is a pressing matter. These pennies are
I
unbelievable.
love this chest.
Of the intact tomb of King Tutankhamun in 1922, a new wave of interest developed for the ancient.
Here's a replica of King Tut's perfume jar. I didn't know he wore perfume. I mean, I guess it makes sense, though. But given, you know, based off of stuff that we've learned from ancient Egypt, they weren't exactly the cleanest. So, looks nice. Here's another floor, in the floor expectation. Here's an Egyptian coffin panel as well as a water buffalo horn column. I'm not quite sure what they would be used for, but still on the floor. And then here's just a replica of one of the boats that they would use back in that time. A picture of King Tut.
Once you pass through, be gone and leave the jewel in its place.
I don't even know if this is real or not. I don't think it's real.
Creator of the world and protector of the Jew, I will manage to the underground world Citra and steal my beautiful creation.
Found this microscope, and there's a tiny camera right through that needle, but magnifies, and you can completely blurry, or you can sharpen it, whatever you like, but it's inside the like hole of the needle. It's pretty cool.
I offer you wisdom and protection, but I will take that. all of desire.
So apparently this is a mummy of a sideshow worker who would like drive nails into his nose, or it can be seen through x-rays and things like that, but he was preserved. It's pretty cool to have like actual mummies. Now we reached the giant section. And then down here it shows like, well, it shows his ring, or one of his rings. Get it. And you could show it, but like I could fit 3 of my fingers in there and just one. So that's crazy. They have this little diagram where it makes it seem like you're like as tall as some of the people here, like some of the like giants, I'd say. I don't want to say that. Sounds mean. But they have like little, like in the windows, they have like smaller replicas as well as like people just vacuuming. I got this poor lady. Scream for the camera. There she goes.
It seems like you might have a question or a topic in mind.
She just went back
Would
to
you like to
vacuuming.
ask me about my life, experiences, or perhaps something specific about being the tallest man?
How tall are you?
I'm here to share my story.
How tall are you?
It sounds like you might be getting ready to share something, or if you have any questions
Yeah,
about
so
my
it's just
life or
that.
experiences.
Heavily Camper here is the world's tallest boy. The 8'7". I don't think I was hand. And again, I have like small hands, so that's terrifying.
You're very welcome. Now, excuse me.
Beautiful
I need to
life.
get back to my stove. It was great talking with you.
I have Sandy Allen's shoes. Shoes 7'7". Like, look at that. That's. And then here they have an interaction thing with Robert Waldo. He comes out and he asks a question. But his is one of his, like, one of his shoes. So,
Well, hello there. My name is Robert.
okay, so we're entering the room with, I don't know what you call it, but it's just interesting. Have this man built out of scrap metal, as well as this elephant built out of scrap metal. Looks like that one's made out of tires. I think this is like an Iron Maiden. That's pretty cool. And then over here's a fun mirror. Okay. I know I'm short, but I look way shorter. I feel like we have one of these fun mirrors in my break room at work, so like in the camera you can't really see it, but like as I'm looking at it in myself, my head looks huge. Oh, there we go. I have some furniture that's made out of beer cans. I'm not sponsored by them, but that's cool. A skull boring tool. Medical doctor's bag with who knows what's in there. On this side we have some statues from different parts of the world. This one is a dancing woman statue. Where is it? I'm not quite sure where it's from, but she looks gorgeous anyway. I like this one. I believe this one is an ancient Chinese, I could be mistaken, an ancient Chinese statue diorama. I'm not quite sure, but like the details are incredible. Very pretty. Right next to it is another statue. This is pretty interesting and pretty cool. So a bit of interesting fact here. My mom was a teacher up until a couple years ago. She had retired. And she would teach a lot of like Middle Eastern, ancient China, a little bit of Japan, Africa, things like that. So there's this one section in her particular that she had to teach was about the terracotta warriors. And she had, I believe she had a statue similar to this one, but she had also had a statue of a terracotta warrior. And she actually had two, but one of them one of her students was messing around and broke it. So that's interesting. But whenever I see statues like these, it always reminds me of the one that was broken. So a little history buff. She really likes terracotta statues, like the ones from China. So that's for you, Mom. And below the statues are these engraved skulls from different parts of the world. Like that first one is from Indonesia, and it looks like you can actually buy it. Like there's a QR code right there. This one is just like a normal engraved skull. This one is an ancestral head, I believe, performed for like different types of ceremonies and things like that. Here's another one that's another ancestral head, and there's the back of somebody's skull, an Aboriginal skull cup. Oh, interesting. So it's a cup. Here's some more ancient artifacts right there. That blue one is a Tibetan skull drum. Interesting. I think there's another one on that side right there. This one is a Tibetan ram skull. And over here are some Tibetan skull balls. It's really interesting. Like, and it looks like you can buy these because they have like QR codes on them. So, yeah, if you ever want a Tibetan ram skull, you have your house cursed. I'm not quite saying that. I don't know why it looks cursed, but who knows. Here's another statue from the other side. And here's the back of that. Oh, okay. So I was mistaken. It's Japanese. And it says it right there. It's a Japanese doll platform. Okay, I'm sorry. I meant it's Japanese, not Chinese. But it's still great. It still looks, I love the detail again, but it still looks amazing. So I believe that these are from Asia. I believe they're from Asia. I'm going to try to get out of the reflection. Beautiful statues. Down here we have some more skulls and carvings. Another ram skull right there. And some more skull bones. Another mirror. Ooh, this one's more funky than the... I'm finally tall. Look at that. Alright, so over here we have some skulls and some bones. Back there is a sand tiger shark jaw. As you can see, again, you can buy it. There's a price tag on it. Have carvings of different skulls. Have a two-headed calf skull. Interesting. Right here is an alligator snapping turtle skull. And it kind of reminds me of a Pokemon. I'm not gonna lie. Not anything in particular, but just reminds me of a Pokemon. Over here is a antler that somebody has carved in to have another conjoined calf. They have a lot of these. They have a shrunken animal head, which is a lamb. They have a saber-toothed tiger cub. Skull is a fossil right there. And then we have a lamb with two bodies. It just looks like oh, okay, I was gonna say that you can't really see the second body, but it's right there. Yep. Over here we had some wood carvings. pretty interesting. Down here are some hate gods. Very interesting. Especially that one. But yeah, hate gods on this side. Now this is pretty interesting. Right here is a jet made out of matchsticks. Or, I'm sorry, it's a plane. It looks like a jet, but it's a, yeah, matchstick plane. Back there, I believe it's a box, so we'll go over there and see what it is. But down here are some other things. There's a violin, a wagon with some barrels in it. I'm sorry, a pot. Let me see if I get down. A pot, as well as a car, a chain, which is interesting. That's pretty cool, because that chain just looks like wood. And then you have a shadow made entirely out of matchsticks. That's so cool. I wish I was that creative and that patient to be doing stuff like this. Over here are some other things made out of matchsticks. There's a box, a crown. I'm not quite sure what this is. I think this is a ship, but I think the sign is on the other side. Down here is another ship made out of matchsticks. Don't ask me what this is because I have no idea. But could you imagine it was like you're walking in the middle of the night in the woods and then you just come across this thing and it starts making noise at you? Couldn't be me. There's some other different artifacts. Down here as well. That light is bright. Look at it. Hang on, let me see if I can do it again. Like, the tail moves, the fin moves, that's crazy. I think this Hulk is made out of bolts. Here we have an iron lung right here. Has a three-headed Hydra right here. That's crazy. There's a cult sculpture right over here with a falcon or a hawk. Someone that enjoys learning about history, especially like dark history things, here we have is like Al Capone and his record sheet. However, they have a brick. It says this is an actual brick from the Chicago St. Valentine's Day Massacre Wall of February 14th, 1929 at 2122 North Clark Street. And I was, a couple years ago, like back in high school or whatever, I was very fascinated by the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Don't ask me why, but I was. But down here, I believe, is Al Capone's dice? It was crazy. Or one of his dices. I think it was like a family-owned thing. But he ran an illegal dice game at some of the Chicago country clubs in the late 40s, things like that. But that's kind of cool that they actually have one of his bricks right here. They have some things here that are prison-made necessities to escape. So clearly you have to have a disguise as well as some makeshift paddles to row across from, you know, Alcatraz. But like, that's so cool, interesting. Here's a whole thing where it's like what tattoos, different tattoos in prison and what do they mean and things like that. So yeah, I don't know how accurate some of these are, but I wouldn't know. I've never been to prison. There's just a couple of wanted posters. Prison break. So this is a tunnel bypass, but we're gonna go through the tunnel. So this is what it looks like. And if you are, I'm already feeling it. You may have to close your eyes in this, but It might not even be as bad for you as it is for me. And it comes down here through this window. But this is what it is. It's trippier when you're physically there, but I could just be, you know. But yeah, this was here the last time I was here. It was pretty colors. Okay, so that was it. That was Ripley's, believe it or not. It's here right next to Icon Park, but it's very nice. It's about like $30. But it's still cool, still something to do if you just don't want to go to the parks or anything. It wasn't a lot of people there. So, yeah. But again, thank you for coming with me, joining with me, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.